Jarmo, did you ever get close on Panarin?
No. No.
Jarmo, I don't think a lot of general managers have ever had a trade deadline like you have had. I don't think you have. What has this been like for you, for a GM that has prided himself on having sort of one foot in today and one foot always in tomorrow, to really go whole hog for this spring without really knowing what may happen with a significant number of your players?
Well, I don't necessarily agree on that. I think that we have a good foot in the future as well. We have a lot of prospects that I don't think that get the credit that they deserve, that are very close to playing in the National Hockey League. I just did an interview with our TV there about Emil Bemström. He leads the Swedish league in goal scoring. He's got 20 goals. And if you compare the names that have done that at his age, or look at the list of names that have done it in his age, you get Peter Forsberg, you get Marcus Naslund, you get Sedin, you get Kent Nielsen. And I'm not saying that he's going to be one of those guys, because I never do that, but he's done some significant things. He's had 20 goals in the Swedish league. At the age of 19, he's on the men's national team. Nobody really talks about him, but every time I talk to a general manager, that's the first guy they ask about. Or they ask about Liam Foudy, who's on fire in London. Or they ask about Alexander Texier, and it's a no every time. It's a non-starter. But we know that we're not just overrating those guys, because that's the first question they always ask is about one of those three guys. And they're all playing, the two European League players, they're all playing on the men's level now. They're basically dominating on men's level. And Liam Foudy is obviously still in junior, and who knows, maybe he's ready next year, maybe he takes another year. But those are three top-notch forward prospects. And if our pending UFAs decide to leave, we have tons of cap space. So I'm not worried about our future, and that's why we were able to do these deals with some of the futures that we put into them. Ottawa got good prospects, but we still have good prospects, great prospects left, and we got some time to get back some draft picks. And most of the time, the draft picks take 5 years before they're going to help you. So if we give up a 21 draft pick, you do the math. It's 2026 when they're going to make an impact on the Blue Jackets, so we still have some time to figure that out.
This is a different approach for you, though. Would you agree to that? I mean, you've never had a lot like this before.
It's not. But we've never been in this situation before where we had the luxury of having this kind of a depth on our prospect pool, and that allows it. Like I said, it was a no every time anybody asked for those three guys on the forward side, and that gives us a luxury to move somebody outside of that. But it's not. This is definitely not a spring or deadline saying that, okay, we're all in for this spring, and then it's like we're just going to start a rebuild. That's definitely not what we're doing here. We have our core in place, and it's going to be in place no matter what happens with the UFAs. We have Seth Jones, we have Zach Werenski, we have Nick Foligno, we have Pierre-Luc Dubois. We have lots of good players. We're going to have a good team next year no matter what happens with the UFAs.
Jarmo, how much did the standings play into what you did over the past few days? I mean, if you're 10 points, 8 points out of the playoffs, would it have a different outcome today?
Obviously, that would make it different, but we are where we are, and we have a tight race coming up. We have to make the playoffs first, and then we want to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, I think at every trade deadline you say you want to help the room, and certainly you did this time. But how, beyond just doing that, how important was it to sort of change the feeling around this team, where I think the storyline around your team, whether it was in the room or not, was who were the Blue Jackets going to lose? And you come out of this trade deadline, and the news is who you've gained and how big of a threat you might be. Just how big of an attitude boost do you think all of that is to the players, to the fan base, and to your organization's reputation throughout the league?
I hope so. And I said it a couple times already that we wanted to send a message to the locker room that we believe in the group, and we wanted to strengthen it. And it's quite frankly been you guys who have been speculating all year on Panarin and Bobrovsky, not me. So you asked me a question whether we'd consider moving them, and I'm not going to say a hard no, because I never do. So I'll just say that we would have moved them if it made sense for now and into the future, and it didn't. So here they are.
When it became clear that you weren't going to move them, what were your feelings? Were you kind of relieved, or that they're going to be here, or how did you feel about the fact that they didn't move?
I'm excited about our team, and that's the reason why we didn't. There was no offer that would have made sense for us now and into the future, and it was an easy decision. You don't get the luxury of having a two-time Vezina Trophy-winning goalie in your lineup very often, and as long as we can enjoy his services, it's a great luxury to have. And we have a superstar in Artemi Panarin, and now we added some important pieces into our lineup, and we're stronger because of that, and it gives us a chance to compete this spring.
Over here, just a two-parter. Are you surprised that you didn't get close with Panarin, and do you feel like the fact it took Mark Stone so long with that deal to go, did that affect anything? If that had gone earlier, do you think maybe the offers would have been better?
I have no idea. I can't speculate on what the other GMs are thinking. I'm glad that Panarin and Bobrovsky are still here, because they're great players, as I said. It gives us a chance to compete, and people say that we used picks and mortgage our future, and then if we traded Artemi Panarin for draft pick, they say they don't want to win now. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But every year is an opportunity to compete, and I feel we have a really good team, and this gives us an opportunity to compete for Stanley Cup. We'll have a great team next year as well, no matter what happens, and I can't emphasize that enough. We might be a little bit younger or more inexperienced, but we have tons of cap room to deal with that. So whatever happens, we'll be a good team next year too, and into the near future.
On the actual trade deadline day, have you ever woken up? I don't even know if you went to bed last night. Have you ever started the day feeling more confident about the chances of this team this year?
I thought we had a good team last year. I think we have a better team this year. But I really do believe in our core group. I think we have some great pieces here. I said, again, two-time Vezina Trophy winner in our net. We have Seth Jones, who I think should belong into the conversation about Norris Trophy. We have other good D. Now we're balanced. We have three right-handers on right side. We have left-handed defensemen on the left side. We're well balanced. Adam McQuaid adds toughness and character into that group. A good defender, and we're very balanced with four lines, with deep in every position, and I think we have enough skill. We have enough scoring. I think we have some power play skill now added with Duchesne, a great face-off man. So I think we have a lot of the ingredients that you need to compete, but there's also lots of great competition on the in the East, and you all know how tight it is, and first you have to earn your way into the playoffs, and then you're going to get some of the best teams in the league against you in the first and second round, and so forth. But we'll worry about that when and if that gets to be reality. First, we have to make the playoffs.
It was interesting to listen to players talk the last couple of days, because the sense, at least in the room, and of course they don't get to answer all your phone calls, it just seemed like that Panera was going to stay and Bob was going to stay. Torch was out here a couple hours ago playing the same lineup as we did against San Jose. That was 3 hours ago. I'm assuming he didn't know anything at the time, but did you sense how everyone seemed to think this is going to stay as it is with these two guys?
These guys don't care about draft picks. That's the last thing they care about. They could care less about draft. They care about winning. And Artemi Panarin is a great player. Like I said, he's a superstar. Sergei Bobrovsky, two-time Vezina Trophy winner. I can't keep repeating myself enough here for the importance of those guys. And I never wanted to trade him, but sometimes if somebody makes an offer you can't refuse. I keep saying the same thing. Wayne Gretzky was traded, so you're gonna always have to keep an open mind and see what's best for the franchise now and into the future. So that's why I never closed the door, but I never wanted to trade Artemi Panarin or Sergei Bobrovsky. They're great players. I love them both. They've done great things for the Blue Jackets. I'd do the same trade in a second for Artemi Panarin, knowing that there's a risk that you can't keep him through more than 2 years. I'd do it again in a second because he's a great hockey player.
How much better are you than you've ever been here? How much better is this roster?
Well, I've only been here for 6 years, so I can't. But I think this is a good team, so we'll see. At the end of the year, like I say after every trade, when somebody says good trade, I'll say time will tell.
And the expectation is?
Expectation. We want to win the Stanley Cup, but you got to make the playoffs first before you get an opportunity for that dance.
Jarmo, you never can have too much depth, but what is it about your goaltending situation that you looked at it and you wanted to make an ad there?
Oh, it's just it's one injury away of having not enough goaltending. So Kincaid gives us an experienced guy who's been in the league and is a known NHL goaltender who's probably the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, that New Jersey made the playoffs last year, and I think had the most wins in the league after a certain date in the springtime. And I think he had 14 wins after February 1 or something, and was just on a great run last year. And New Jersey probably haven't had the best year this year, along with Keith Kincaid, but he's a proven goaltender in the National Hockey League level, and you need 3 of that type of guys in your depth chart.
The addition of Adam McQuaid, experienced guy, talk about why you decided to go that route and adding not only a experienced defenseman, but a little bit of a snarl, tough guy back there.
Yeah, I think it gives us another element. Murray's going to be out for a little bit here, and he's had a great season for us, Ryan Murray. So it leaves us with a little bit of a hole. We don't know exactly how long he's going to miss, but we felt that we needed another defenseman, and excuse me, Adam McQuaid gives us experience and character and compete, and he plays with an edge. And that's going to be important down the stretch here.
One of the guys that you wanted, I think, to have a really good bounce back year this year is Burke. He's kind of struggled a little bit, maybe scratch tomorrow. Where do you see him fitting in here, either short term, long term, kind of both?
Well, he's just still a young player. He's a good player. He had 60 points in this league 1 year, 59. He struggled with scoring. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders right now because he's been struggling scoring goals and has one of the lowest shooting percentages in the league, and he's gonna bounce out of it, bounce back, and he'll be a good player for us. He's smart. He does a lot of good things for us even when he's not scoring. He's on our #1 penalty killing unit, and he's a really dependable two-way center, and so I'm confident that he's going to bounce back, and he's only 24 years old, so it's not like.
He could be like a post-deadline trade addition.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Remember, the chair that you sit in can be stressful. Have you ever had more fun at a trade deadline than this one?
I have fun at deadline, but I have most fun when I watch our team compete and win games, and that's the biggest enjoyment that I get in my job. So again, time will tell how it pans out here, but I'm looking forward to watching our team the rest of the way this year, and that's what it's all about. That's the biggest enjoyment of my job, is watching our team, and now I think they all know that they're going to be here and they're excited, and I'm just going to be enjoying the ride.
Kind of along those lines, you've been busy the last few days trying to add whatever. Now it's done, you just watch.
Well,
is that kind of a helpless feeling?
Unfortunately, it doesn't end for me here. Now we're going to set sights on other things with free agents, and we have some players playing in Europe whose season might be over soon, and then we'll see if we can bring them over here, and that could add some help too. Texier's team is close to missing the playoffs. Elvis Merzlikin's team is right on the edge of making it or not making it. So we'll see about those, and we have some other decisions to make on some free agents, college free agents. Then we're going to prepare for the draft, even if we don't have too many picks in Vancouver yet. We still have time. We still have time to work on that until June. What's the date on? June 20th. We can get some more picks.
Jarmo, Bob and Brett handled themselves like pros. The team's leadership stayed even keel, and your coaching staff promoted sort of openness, transparency, and honesty that seemed to help. My question is, who deserves the most credit for keeping this team from allowing previous situations from being a distraction this year?
Well, I think we openly talked about that right from the start of the training camp, and we weren't going to let it be an elephant in the room, we call it, and Torts and myself, we had a meeting with the team about that. We talked about it anytime there was any question about it becoming a distraction, we brought it out in the open and communicated with the team about it, communicated with those individuals about it, and they're true pros. They've never, I don't think that their performance has ever fluctuated or whatever you want to call it because of the uncertainty. They want to have their best years. We need them to have their best years. You know, if they want to go and test the free agency, they're going to want to have the best year of their career before that, and that helps us. That helps them, and that's their right, and we respect that. We've said that all along, that at some point in your career, a player can earn that right to be an unrestricted free agent, and you have to respect that. We've negotiated that into the CBA, and wish them the best of luck if that's what they choose to do.
And just to be clear on the goaltenders, do you carry 3 goaltenders for the foreseeable future?
Yes.
From the outside, again, looking in, there have been people that said this team has been making progress. If they could make a deep run into the playoffs, it would change it would change the perception of Columbus. Do you believe that too? That if you guys were able to make a deep run, that whether it be free agents or whoever looks differently at the Blue Jackets, having finally had some playoff success?
Yeah, I think so, but you have to ask every free agent individually about what their opinion on that is. I think winning will attract good players. I think all the good players will look forward to winning. I keep saying the same thing about the first round success, that I don't think it's as important that some people make it sound. I'd like to win 4 rounds, that's the goal. But obviously you're going to have to win the first round first and then go forward from there. But I'm not satisfied if we go 2 rounds or 3 rounds. I'd be happy when we go 4 rounds and win. That's the goal. That's the only reason why any of the 31 teams are in this league, and I don't think anybody's going to be lifting their arms up to win 1 round of playoffs and be happy about it. And I don't think we should be either. It's a good step for the organization to win 1 round, but you know, we're going to get there for sure. Whether it's this spring or next spring or whatever, we have good enough core that we can build around to make that happen, and we're giving it our best effort to make it happen this year. But again, first round victory is not the goal.